Decades before Capella Grey would drop New York City's 2021 Song of the Summer, Gyalis, he was growing up on the streets of the Bronx and teaching himself how to play every musical instrument he could lay his hands on while learning to be a church musician as a little kid. From these humble beginnings, he evolved into producing music for other artists as a teenager, to finally stepping in front of the microphone himself as a young man. Every step along the way, Capella has proven that he more than belongs, and now that he's already done the hard part by laying all the groundwork, it's time to reap the benefits of his success. Find out how Capella Grey made it on our newest episode of Before They Were Famous.
What's going on, guys? Now, I've been seeing a lot of your comments and a lot of you guys, well, you'll say that the people that we feature, they ain't actually famous. Or like, you have no idea who the hell these people actually are. So we decided to come up with a solution to this problem. We'll be launching a brand new channel titled Famous Life. And I'm encouraging all of you guys to go over there and subscribe to this channel right now. Subscribe. Pretend I'm Mr. Beast. You gotta go do it right now. I just wanna thank you guys in advance. I can't wait to see how big we can grow this channel in 2022.
Capella Grey was born Curtis Anthony Jackson II on August 2nd, 1995 in Westchester, New York, but the entire rest of his family was born there and immigrated to New York just prior to Capella's arrival. Growing up in such a strong Caribbean household meant that Capella listened to a bunch of island jams, you know, the type with smooth flows, cadences, and melodies, all of which would eventually influence his own music making. But being raised in a co-op house near 241st Street in Mount Vernon by immigrant parents also meant that his folks had high hopes in terms of his future. Job titles that included phrases like doctor, lawyer, engineer, or if worse came to worse, teacher. The one thing they didn't expect, that Capella would want to become a musician. But in some ways, I mean, they really should have. After all, they raised their son in the church, and it was there that his passion for music really began to take root. That's when Capella learned how to play a whole series of different musical instruments, including the piano, drums, guitar, and yes, even the church organ, saying Capella's talented.
I mean, obviously started in church, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm really a big fan of just harmonies and just, you know what I'm saying, playing with different melodies, just having fun with the music side of it. I'm a musician first. I mean, I was an organist, played drums, keys, just all the instruments down.
Outside of his experience in the church, Capella says that the city of New York also provided just as much influence to his eventual abilities as anything else ever did. He told Billboard, "And being in NYC, there were a whole bunch of different artists that came up from the city that really inspired me on a hip-hop standpoint. I kind of write how I talk, so a lot of the lingo is really New York City. Even the tempo of it, the BPMs and stuff. Be chilling. It just don't sound like nowhere else." Biting off of popular artists like Marvin Gaye, Oscar Peterson, and Jodeci, this young man began blending old school voice stylings along with more modern day grooves to create a sound of his own. In terms of unique combination of old alongside the new, Capella told Vice, "Being a musician, I was listening to hip hop, but I wanted to hear music that was catering to real musicianship, with real instrumentation and chords. I wanted to make the sound I wanted to hear." To establish himself as a successful artist, first he had to come up with a banger of a name, and thankfully he got an assist from an Italian girl who put him onto the fact that Capella means a residence of musical excellence. According to a quick lookup on Webster's dictionary, that Italian girl wasn't quite right on that definition, but hey, close enough for government work, as I like to say. From that point on, Curtis Jackson II was now known as Capella Grey, and for the next few years, he shifted into producing tracks for established artists other than himself, as he worked his way up the industry and improved his skill set. During this time, he sacrificed a whole lot for his art, and even wound up homeless because everything he ever earned was eventually funneled right back into his music.
I didn't mind being homeless, but as long as I could get into a studio, I didn't mind being, you know what I'm saying, having to run, you know what I'm saying, taxi or whatever else niggas was doing like that just to get a little bread just so that we were surviving, so we was able to just create, because we knew this shit's gonna pay off. And I'm saying we, because the gang, these are people I didn't just meet ATF, you know what I'm saying? We've been in family since we was broke together, you know what I'm saying? And we was grind hustling together, making music, wilding in the studio, you know what I'm saying, for hours. I'm talking like hours, days in the studio, just putting together, just, you know what I'm saying? I got over 700 songs on my phone because we were just grinding it out.
It wouldn't be until quarantine had set in that Capella would eventually consider betting on himself as a performing artist. That's when in early 2020, he'd release his debut mixtape, Yeah, Nah, I'm Out, which not only accurately summed up how we were all feeling at that particular moment in world history, but, well, it was a banger. Hot on the heels of that project, Capella would drop another mixtape called Quarantine Vibes 1, which included the track WTW that combined Lionel Richie's All Night Long with Clips' Grindin', as well as Busta Rhymes' Put Your Hands Where My Eyes Can See. Capella's unique use of heavy sampling had record execs thinking that this dude produces music like a DJ, and really they weren't exactly wrong. While sampling isn't anything new to the hip-hop scene, bouncing around from one track to another in one song, that's pretty singular. But if you thought Capella was shattering the mold with that track, you haven't heard anything yet, because his breakthrough single, 2021's Gyalis, would break every rule in the book. I mean, to start with, Gyalis samples the juvenile classic Back That Ass Up and combines with dancehall melodies alongside old school NYC hip-hop production to create something that sounds completely different. The track even does away with conventional song structure by not including either a hook or a bridge. I mean, basically it's the antithesis of most pop music, and yet it's blowing the hell up regardless. Capella knew after creating the song that he had something special on his hands, but that doesn't mean that he expected to pull all the numbers that it has.
It took off on its own. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I put it out, and then I just saw Shorty sharing it around Uptown. Then after like a month after that, I started seeing more shorties and more people sharing it. Then it started making it into the clubs and stuff like that, just organically. There was no paid promotion. There was no gimmicks, no weird shit. There was no scandals, no nothing. Just putting it on the vibe.
Within a month, the track was popping off at clubs all around the city, despite the fact that Capella had invested no paid promotion or even tried to drum up a viral campaign for the song at all. It would eventually go on to be named NYC's Song of the Summer, and I'm talking way before summer even hit. So what exactly does Gyalis mean for those of us who don't hail from the islands? Well, according to what Capella told Genius, it's pretty much a cool, lovable dude who likes to, well, take out a lot of women.
Definition of a Gyalis, you know what I'm saying? Somebody that's just really good with the gal. You know what I'm saying? We keep a good name, everything healthy, everything copacetic.
And while his New York fans might not have known better, Capella's Jamaican fan base on social media really wasn't having that explanation. They bombarded him in the comments that he had basically downplayed the reputation of a word that's synonymous with player. In other words, a promiscuous man who obsessively seduces women. When Capella realized how hard people were coming at him for his interpretation of the word, he apologized on social media and said that he was trying to keep things PG-13. Of course, a little bit of controversy never hurt anyone, and before long, Capella Grey was signing his first record deal with Capitol Records in June of 2021. More than just that, my man got his own joint venture label out of the deal, establishing Alapac the Family. When asked why this felt like the perfect fit by Vice, Capella told him, "Capitol is not trying to change me as an artist to meet the standards or expectation of music now, which is why I went with them. They let me do my thing." And why wouldn't they? Right now, that thing is propelling Gyalis into becoming his first entry in the Billboard Hot 100, and even climbing within the top 10 on the Hot R&B Songs list. Oh, and did I mention that he just dropped a song titled Bestie with a Boogie with the Hoodie from NBA superstar Kawhi Leonard's music video project Culture Jam Volume 1. I know it's a bit of a weird combo, but when is Kawhi not doing something weird? As for the rest of this story, well, you already know it because this is Before They Were Famous. My name is Clyde Smith, and if you enjoyed this video, please take a moment to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in another one.